Here we go with another online battle. So my last online battle, I believe, was a Garchomp Altaria deck. Unfortunately, I lost the video for the building of that deck, so I wanted to feature the deck in another video just so you guys could see the rough build of it. My only issue with this deck is I only have one Altaria, so keep that in mind as I play. This video is sped up, so I might have to work a little harder to keep up the commentary. This is versus a Zekeels deck, so I start a lone Gibble. He gets to go first with the Zekrom, attaches a Lightning and an Eviolite, throws down a Tynamo, and passes. So, I'm gonna go ahead and random receiver and see what sort of supporter I get. I also built this deck before Boundaries Cross came out, so there's no Skyla or computer search in this deck. Those are the two big additions I would have wanted to add. So I'm going to throw down the Altaria, the Gibble. We're going to use 2 Level Ball to get 2 Altaria and another Gibble out. I'm going to use that Bianca to get... I don't really recall what we get. I didn't play the Emolga simply because I don't really think it's a necessary... well, with all the Level Ball, I'm feeling pretty good. I kept 1 Level Ball in my hand so that I could use... I could search for a Gabite next turn. Unfortunately, he ends me. Oh, I did attach the scarf to Altaria. Again, that's because I only run one, or I only have 1 Altaria, so wanted to make sure that I can reuse it. After he ends, he puts down 2 more eels, and he's already got an electric evolved. I had done the what is it? Sand attack on Gibble. So I flipped the heads, or is it the tails, whatever I needed, so that he couldn't attack me. Able to well, he ended me into the Gabite, so I Dragon Call for another Gabite, Dragon Call again for an Altaria. We're going to play down a Rescue Scarf on that active Gabite and use N to see if I can get an energy attachment for the turn. I do, and we're going to, well, do I want to catch her up and eel to stall for a little bit? I don't have a supporter in my hand, so I may want to focus on conserving resources. With a Gabite on the bench and a Garchomp in hand, I'm looking pretty good. So I go ahead and pass. He's got 2 energy on that Zekrom. He puts a Rescue Scarf on his Zekrom on the bench that he just played down. He's going to Level Ball for, I'm sure, another eel. Go ahead and get 2 eels on the field. I'm trying to see if that's a Prism or a Blend. I think it's a Blend energy attached to Zekrom right now, so we can... you know, he's going to be running some other attackers, and this is just a game of ends. There's another end, another end on my end too, but I'd say a little bit nicer hand. Got another Gibble, got the energy, and then of course I have the Dragon Calls on Gabites to be able to get in my Garchomp, so feeling pretty good. He Level Balls for a 3rd eel, unless that was... No, I'm sorry. He got the 3rd eel off of the N, and he Level Balls for an Emolga, doesn't bench it, and ends up just outraging me for 20. So I bench the other Gibble. I'm going to Dragon Call for a Garchomp, and right now I'm just checking to see if I have any more Gabites left in my deck. Looks like I don't, so I'm going to Dragon Call just for 2 Garchomp, and attach my energy for the turn. After capturing up one of those eels, eels are the most important things in an electric deck. Yeah, they're the energy acceleration for this entire thing. If I can knock out the eels, I'm pretty much good for the game. So I N into a nice fresh hand so that I can continue with the energy attachments every turn. And I just hit him for, or I'm sorry, not a 90, 80. He puts an Eviolite, looks like on an electric, so we pretty much just wasted an Eviolite since it doesn't have any effect. That blend is the Lightning blend, so Lightning, Fighting, and a couple of others. So chances are he's probably running Terrakion since Darkrai decks are pretty big. Interesting play, he tries an X-Transceiver, and we're looking at a Sharon. He plays a Sharon, and then has to pass, so he was not able to get the switch off of that Sharon. Excellent news for me. Doesn't look like I have a really good way to search out a Garchomp right now, so I'm just going to attach to another Gibble, And I don't really want to Bianca for 2, so I'm just going to Mach Cut and knock out that electric. I've got the Rescue Scarf attached to that active Garchomp, so as soon as I get that back, I can use that candy in my hand to evolve one of my other Garchomps, and use that super... Well, actually, I don't really need to use a Super Rod on just one energy, so I should be alright there. I did hit a blend energy off of my prizes, so that means that I can attach that to a Garchomp next turn if he does happen to have another energy. Looks like he did attach the third energy to get the knockout. And there we go, with the 120 Bolt Strike, does 90 to himself. And I'm going to go ahead and promote my other Garchomp. So all those cards go back to my hand because of the Rescue Scarf. He's got 20 on him, so I need to do 110 to him. My Mach Cut's only going to do 80, but I can use my second attack. I don't even know what my second attack is called, for 120. So I do have to discard some cards, but I think that's definitely going to be the play. But no, I actually end up deciding just to go for the Mach Cut, and that's probably not that bad of a choice because Mach Cut discards his special energy. So it looks like right now I just attached that second energy onto my bench Garchomp after rare candying it, evolved my other Gabite, my other Gibble to Gabite, so I can search out another Garchomp next turn. And I'm feeling like I have a pretty solid board control. We may be even on prizes. He throws down a Mewtwo, and that's one thing that I do not run in this deck is Mewtwo's to counter the other Mewtwo's, simply because typically Garchomp decks are so fast, they're not necessarily needed. So I attach a fighting to the other Gibble, Dragon Call for a Garchomp, get that Garchomp evolved, and I'm checking my discard pile. I only have one fighting energy in there, so there's really no need to waste the Super Rod right now. Really no need to waste a level ball. I'm honestly pretty good on resources, but I use a level ball to check my deck, and there's nothing else in there but Emolga. So I grab the Emolga, communicate in for another Emolga. Right now I'm just burning some cards to be able to Bianca. I should have just failed the Emolga communication, but oh well. And that puts me into some additional resources, and looks like I just Mach Cut for the knockout. On the Zekrom. So I'm pretty close to knockout, but that's alright. The big thing is that I really wanted to hit a catcher so I could take out another eel, or possibly do some significant damage to that Mewtwo. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to hit that, but right now he's only got 2 energy on that Zekrom. He Dynamotors 1 onto Mewtwo, and puts down another Zekrom. I don't remember if he's attached for the turn yet. So if he has anything to put on that active Zekrom to do anything more than 20. Right now I'm sitting at 100, and that's not going to be that Outrage for 20 is not enough to knock me out. So I'm feeling pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and end simply because I want to go ahead and use up my ends so that he can't try and end me down to a low hand. I have a higher by using my ends, I have a higher shot of using a random receiver to get into a Juniper. And I Mach Cut to discard one of his special energies, which means he has to attach manually to that active to be able to outrage me for the knockout. And even still, I've got some fully loaded Garchomps on the bench waiting to do some serious damage. So I'm still feeling really good, even though we're going to be tight on prizes after this turn. He ends up retreating, though, and I'm a little surprised by this move. He looks like he's then Dynamotoring onto the Mewtwo, and then playing the switch. So he's got a fully loaded Mewtwo, and he's probably figuring that I have no way to really counter a Mewtwo except just two-shotting it. That I don't play any other Mewtwo, so... Very, very interesting way to look at this. Yeah. So I end up just ending for 4. Now I get the catcher. So now the question is, do I use on the eel or I just put some damage on that Mewtwo? So first I'm going to put some of the Garchomp line, the Gabite, the Garchomp, and a Fighting Energy back into my deck. I've got the Gibble on the bench, so he's ready to go. And I don't know whether or not to use the catcher or not. check his discard pile to see what sort of situation he's in as far as energy, and going back and forth. And I decided Dragon Blade for 120. I figured keep that catcher in hand if he tries to retreat to the bench. I mean, let's say he's doing 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 120. He needs to attach one more energy to the active to be able to one-shot me, and then I can just Dragon Blade with my other Garchomp on the bench to be able to knock out his Mewtwo for 2 prizes. That will put us, let's see, if he knocks out my Garchomp now, yeah, that would still put me ahead in the prize count after I knock out the Mewtwo. So he decides to retreat back to the Zekrom and see if he has another switch in hand. Looks like he's Dynamotoring onto the other Mewtwo. And he's not going to be able to one-shot me with that Mewtwo, but he'll be able to do some significant damage. There's the switch. And he Junipers away a communication and an Emolga, attaches another energy to Mewtwo. Again, he's probably assuming I don't run Mewtwo and DCE. Good assumption for a Garchomp deck. And so he should feel pretty safe about loading up that Mewtwo with energy. So he catchers up an Altaria. Very interesting. Does 60 to it. Luckily, I've got a spare fighting energy in hand. But first, I am going to catcher up that damaged Mewtwo. I want a double prize. So I'm going to discard that fighting energy I just attached to Altaria, retreat for the Garchomp, and Juniper for a fresh hand, Level Ball for a Gabite, go ahead and play the Gabite. Although I don't know why I just didn't communicate it in for a Garchomp and a Rare Candy, but oh well. I go ahead and Dragon Call for the Garchomp to get it in my hand, and it doesn't look like there's too much else I really need to do. So I should just go ahead and Dragon Blade for the knockout. Or actually, no, I can still Mach Cut for knockout. I put enough damage on him last turn, he wasn't able to knock out my Altaria, so feeling pretty good. So now I am back ahead in prizes. Got a significant prize lead right now, 4-2, and yeah, I only need to take 2 more prizes. I've only played 2 catcher, so I should have 1 more catcher left in my deck. So if he hits me with the Mewtwo, again, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. He won't be able to one-shot me. He's only going to be hitting me for 100, and I can easily afford to sacrifice another prize. Now, the question is whether or not my last catcher is prized, so I may want to go conservative and retreat to my my fully healed Garchomp. Looks like he's going to Silent for some lightning energy and hit me for 120 with X-Ball. So I'm going to go ahead and evolve to Garchomp. We will attach the energy, that fighting energy, to, we'll do it to the Swablu in case he tries to bring that up to stall for a little bit. If it brings up the Altaria, he's probably just going to knock it out, so that way I just don't waste my energy attachment for the turn. Oh, what do I do? Do I put the extra damage on with Mach Cut or with Dragon Blade? I do decide to bench the Emolga just because I might need a little bit of time to figure out what I want my next attacker to be. And Mach Cut will also discard that special energy. So I decide to go for the Mach Cut, which just hits him for 80. But, yeah, let's see, 80, so that puts him at 90. Oh, but he uses a potion. So, yeah, that kind of hurts. So now he's only at 50. So, unfortunately, I really should have done the Mach Cut. But again, I don't know if my catcher's prize. So he brings out a Zekrom. I'm already at 120. He really just needs to Outrage to knock me out. And then he can safely retreat back to Zekrom. So he X-Transceivers, hits a heads, and he's going for the N. Very nice play. Late game end, and of course he plays it. With my hand of 7 right now, I've got lots of options. So he brings me down to 2. Although, except for needing that catcher, there's really not too much else that I need. He heals again, another potion onto the Zekrom this time. Interesting choice. And I go ahead and promote that Emolga for that free retreat. Let's see, I go ahead and Juniper for fresh hand. I'm going to attach, let's see, that Rescue Scarf to one of my Garchomps. Really doesn't matter which one since you don't get the energy back. Although I'm realizing I probably should have attached it to the other one with the energy that I'll be using to attack. Um, Checking my, oh, I decided level ball for another, wait, what did I, oh, no, I'm sorry, I super rotted a Garchomp line back in, and now I'm trying to see, I thought I had an energy attached, so I go ahead, yeah, so I did have an energy attached, you couldn't see it at that point, but I go ahead and just Mach Cut, for the knockout on Zekrom. So, guess it was a good play to go with the Rescue Scarf, and there is my third catcher. I think I only play maybe I play 4 catcher. I don't really recall how many catcher I play in this deck, but that was a crucial one. So next turn, unless he ends me, and I feel he's already ended me 3 times at least. I can't remember if he's ended me a 4th time. I will be able to bring up an Eel and Dragon Blade for the knockout. So this ended up being a fairly close game, though. Loading up a Mewtwo against Garchomp is a fairly good strategy. Again, Garchomps really just don't have the room to run DCE and Mewtwo's. So he plays a Bill of all things. You know, up until now he's been pretty much playing legally. He uses an energy switch, which I don't really understand because he still can't one-shot me. So yeah, there's really not too much else. I've got that energy ready to go on the bench. I catch her up an Eel. I'm going to go ahead and retreat to that Garchomp, ready to go. Dragon Blade for the knockout, and that is game. So very good game. Came down fairly close. I think he could have played it a little bit differently. Maybe got the prize count a little bit closer, but still very close overall and great game. So thanks for watching.